It's a D&D news bonanza!
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
So much Dungeons & Dragons news has come out in the last 24 hours that we decided to just make one big video instead of, like 3 or 4 little videos. Remember that we can only make this kind of content if you comment, like, and subscribe, so be sure to let us know what your favorite D&D story was in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
It would mean a lot to me.
Now, on to the news. Paizo has released a second draft of its open RPG creative license alongside a new Answers and Explanations document, which contains a not-so-subtle dig at Dungeons & Dragons and its recent move to a Creative Commons license. The document notes some of the flaws with the CC BY 4.0 license used by Wizards, namely that the license is much more restrictive about how the content created for the 5e SRD could be used. Now, the original open game license automatically relicensed any work published under the OGL for reuse. So, if I published something under the OGL and didn't claim it as product identity, anyone else could use it if they published an OGL work. Under the Creative Commons license used by Wizards of the Coast, that automatic relicense language doesn't exist, which basically means that the innovations created by third parties are trapped in their publications unless they are explicitly designated for reuse. So while I can use the 5e SRD in my Creative Commons licensed work, I can't use the material published by other people in their Creative Commons licensed work unless they explicitly release it under the CC BY 4.0 license. Now, this isn't exactly a new concept. The original OGL co-creator Ryan Dancy brought this up months ago, but Paizo notes that it's one of the reasons why they opted to make the Orc license as an alternative, to ensure that the virtuous cycle created in the original OGL remains intact. Now, the Orc license is still in the kind of playtest mode, and it will be open for comment until late May, so be sure to check it out, and if you are planning on using it, leave your feedback.
Is that what you want?
Yes, that's what I want.
Wizards of the Coast is scrapping the generic wild-shaped stat blocks proposed in a recent Unearthed Arcana, and thank God for that. In a recent video posted to Dungeons & Dragons YouTube channel, Jeremy Crawford admitted that a majority of respondents disliked the generic stat blocks. To be honest, the problem was that the stat blocks were just, too generic. While hundreds of beast stat blocks options are probably a bit too much for the average Druid player, the 4 offered in the playtest was way too much of a course correction. We wouldn't mind seeing a more streamlined stat block system, but we'd prefer something that provided for more customization and had some more versatility than what was offered in that Unearthed Arcana playtest. Now, as for the Paladin, players were much more receptive to those changes, although the Divine Smite received only 72% positive feedback, which means that it could be tweaked in a future update, and the Range Smite was seen as straying a bit too far from the Paladin's class identity, so don't expect to see any bow and arrow smites anytime soon.
Not up in here!
Not up in here!
We're getting another D&D cookbook. Just after news of a D&D cooking show was announced, Amazon broke the news that a second Dungeons & Dragons cookbook called Heroes Feast: Flavors of the Multiverse will be released in November. This time, the dishes are inspired by, the D&D multiverse, with appetizers, main courses, beverages, and desserts all offered in the cookbook. Now, this will cost you about $35 and was written by the same folks who made the original D&D Heroes Feast cookbook, which was pretty well received and actually contained a lot of great and easy to make recipes. So, if you like to cook and you like D&D themed things, check it out in November.
I'm on my way to Flavor Town!
And finally, the Dungeons & Dragons movie is now available to watch on Paramount Plus, just a couple of weeks after the movie was released on VOD and digital rental. So if you have a Paramount Plus account, you can watch Chris Pine sing and sashay across the Forgotten Realms as much as you'd like.
Sashay away.
So, what was your favorite bit of D&D news? Let us know in the comment section, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.